In terms of how the actual show went, the advance was done all in time. Obviously, it was a bit complicated with Mayfair because they were coming up, so I needed to really make sure that they had their advance information in good time so that they could plan their travel arrangements, in which they did. And I made sure that there was going to be someone in for them for when they arrived, because they were going to arrive earlier than 3. So I made sure that Dan would be in for 1 p.m. for them. And Ded Rabbit had a bit of a problem with backline. All the bands had a bit of a problem with backline, but I thought it had been solved. I put them all in touch with each other, and unfortunately I don't think that anything got resolved, and we ended up having a problem with the bass amp and it being faulty, because I had asked the sound engineer at the Mash House if we had a bass amp, and he'd said yes, and then it turns out that we didn't have a bass amp. So this was obviously a bit of a problem for Ded Rabbit, but we did manage to get one sorted on the day. The other problem was that Real Life Entertainment told me that they were going to be late on the day. They actually said that they might not even make the sound check at all, which was a massive issue for me, because I was really panicking about this. However, it turned out that, and on the day of the event, it brought about a situation where I had to make some decisions fast. So the sound engineer came and asked me if I didn't think that Real Life Entertainment were going to be there on time, should Mayfair get to go on second to last, and then Real Life Entertainment come in and do a line check. And I had already asked Real Life Entertainment if they could do that, and I didn't want to, and because I'd already asked Real Life Entertainment to be the main support, I didn't want to offend anyone, and I was too scared to say yes, so I jittered about on the position for a while. And I think that maybe Mayfair felt bad for the fact that I was struggling, so they said that they were fine with doing that, with opening up. But the sound engineer said to me that he thought that it was only fair that because they travelled so far that they should get to be the main support, and I actually agreed. So then I changed my mind and said that they could go on as main support, in which Mayfair decided that they wanted to go on as first support because they actually had friends in Edinburgh and they told their friends to come down first. So I understood that, and it was very nice of them to do that. And then it turned out that James from Real Life Entertainment, who I had been speaking to and basically organised most of this with over the phone, over on Facebook Messenger, said that all of Real Life Entertainment were going to be there on time, and they had all arrived by 6:30. So they were actually able to do a little mini baby sound check, and then we did the switch over. The first bands went on at 7:30, and it was absolutely fine. Then after the show, before the show, I was very confident in everything that I was doing. I was making sure that I made sure that I got all the money from Mayfair and Real Life Entertainment for the tickets that they'd sold. I think Mayfair had sold 2, Real Life Entertainment sold 8. I got any names that they had, and I got all the standard rep stuff that I've been doing at every other show done during the day. So getting the times out, getting the passes out, giving out the drinks, I offered Ded Rabbit money for food, and they declined it, so that was fine. Probably good, because we ended up losing money anyway. And just made sure that everyone was really comfortable and happy, and they were, especially Mayfair, because obviously they've been travelling for quite a while. And then at the end of the show, there was a bit of a problem. At the end of the show, there was a slight problem, because I had struggled because it was my first time settling up without Dan there. So I was a bit slower than usual. And everyone from Real Life Entertainment, by the time I came out of the office, had left before I could pay them. And at the end of every gig, what's meant to happen is the bands, I fill out a slip, and the bands then also fill out that slip with just their details on, like their address, name, but everything else. And they go, no, and on that slip is the amount that they get paid, and then that has to go back to the mash house for everything to be accounted for. However, unfortunately, no, because it's the mash house who are paying for these gigs, every single penny that goes out must be accounted for. This has never been a problem before, but because James wasn't there, it caused a problem in when the manager of the bar counted all the money and he couldn't account for some of it. There was this huge problem, and I got the blame for some of it. So eventually we managed to get a bank transfer over to them later on in the week, but I did learn a lesson of never ever let a band go without seeing you to get paid first. I mean, I didn't think that they would do anyway, because it's really unusual for bands to do this, but it was definitely a massive lesson for me, just to say to them before the show starts, just come and see me and we'll sort out any money problems. So yeah.